Yes. Okay. So Campbell was talking about he kind of went back in the explanation that he has already given, 2 paragraphs or something like that, and commented all over again. So what he said, he added some nice things, which is why I think it's useful that we go through it again. So this knowledge, what I put as knowledge, so literally it will be more like his understanding, and it is how much he's able to understand, and so his intelligence or his how much he's able to understand or not. And so the quality of his understanding of his knowledge. So we are, yes, he started by doing like the Campbells usually do when they start teaching. They come back to the structure of the text. And he said, so here we have 2 parts. First, the part of the explaining the qualities, or praising Manjushri by the qualities of his understanding, of his knowledge, and then praising him through the qualities of his kindness or his love. And so he said that we are in the first part, and that the wisdom of a Buddha was described by the sun, and out of all the different sources of light, the one that is the most strong and the most powerful is the sun, and that's why the sun is used as an example for the Buddha's wisdom. And so similarly, out of all the different possible types of understanding or knowledges, people who have different understanding, the one who has the most refined, the most strong, the most powerful understanding is Manjushri. So the intelligence or the wisdom of Manjushri is the most powerful one, just like the most powerful source of light is the sun. And in the same way that when, in order to have the clearest light on something that we have to see, if we want to have the clearest and most, the strongest impact of the light of the sun on something, then we must get rid of everything that obscures, like clouds and mists and pollution, etc. And so when we do not have that, then the light of the sun can do its maximum to make us see things the most clearly possible. So and similar way, when the wisdom of Manjushri goes towards one object, it sees things in a way that is the most possible clear way, because there is nothing that obstructs it. So yes, so last time he was saying, like I was saying also, that the Campbell was giving the example of this expression to say that the sun is obstructed when we have clouds. We don't say the light that comes to us is obstructed, but the sun is obstructed. So it's like if the obscuration is on the sun and not on our planet. But then here he gave a different understanding, kind of outlook at it, and said, in order for the wisdom of Manjushri to apply itself to something, then in order to apply it the best way possible, it must be that there must be nothing in between the object of understanding, the object to be understood, and the wisdom of Manjushri. Just in the same way that in order for the sun to illuminate the clearest way possible, there must not be anything in between the sun and the object that we see. And so that's why we have this example of being rid of or not having the obscurations of the cloud, etc. And so if we take then he continued by saying that if we take the wisdom the understanding or the apprehension of phenomena, and we make it reach the maximum or the most perfect state, then we reach the point where this is actually the Buddha's quality, and it's not differentiable. It's exactly the quality that the Buddha himself has. And so we become inseparable from the Buddha, because the Buddha is, that's how we define the Buddha as well. And so, yeah, so that's what he explained here in the beginning. And then here, when he said that your knowledge knows or apprehends all phenomena. Yes, yeah. So here, the apprehension of all phenomena. When he said here phenomena, there are 10 possible exceptions or meanings for the Sanskrit term dharma, which is translated as che. And the first one is something to be known. Second is the path. Third is nirvana. The fourth is something, a compounded phenomena, etc. So there are, in similar way, there are 10 different meanings that we can, in different ways we can understand the word che and dharma. And out of them here, it is the sheje che, so the first exception, the first meaning, which is something that needs to be known, something that is to be known. And then he explained here zik, or to literally to see, but to apprehend or to know all phenomena. And he explained it by saying that it is to know all of it. Kun is all, so to know all of the phenomena, so the all-knowing. And then he commented the word drip, so stains, and the stains here, and he came back to this process of the wisdom or the mind of Manjushri that is perceiving or knowing an object. And here the stain is what puts himself in between the two, between the wisdom and between the object that this wisdom is knowing. And so something that obscures or something that prevents the action of the wisdom to go onto the object is what here we call an obscuration or a stain. Yeah, obscuration. And after that, yes. And for delusion here, for the word delusion, Kempo said it's just the mind that cannot understand things like they are. And it is because the mind does not see things like they are that it is under delusion. And then this refers to the two types of obscuration, the one of the emotions and the one of the knowledge or omniscience. Okay, and then, yes, about stains. He gave the example of this black dirt that we have on clothes, or he also gave the example of, let's say that we have a glass, and behind it there are things that we want to see, and so something that is making this glass dirty, and because of the dirt, then we cannot see what is behind it. So that's how he explained this stain, Tuma. And purified, absolutely. What I translated here is absolutely. He purified the situation very much. Yes. Very much, yes. So here he said in English completely, or yes, very much also. Hachang. Yeah, so and what I did in here when I was translating, I put Shinto and number together in absolutely. So Shinto very much, he also translated as completely. Hachang in Tibetan is very much. And number, he didn't comment it. And for pure, then he said pure and clean. And then, yeah, that was more or less what he said for that part. Then,
Drupchen, quick question.
yes.
Up there with the word that you have as knowing, I think, right?
Yes.
The apprehension and knowing.
Yes.
That part, when we were talking about the last session, it was, I think it was, you were talking about something like that it knows immediately or something like that. I'm just not sure which way to go. I put literally like the wisdom that immediately knows. Just because of the word, and I'm not sure if that's the way it should go.
Yeah, you have this idea of knowing immediately or knowing directly, but in this context, there's nothing that tells that.
Okay.
Here, what it says is, yeah, so to perceive all phenomena. I may have said something about knowing directly, but here in the text, there's nothing that that has that word.
So just knowing would be fine.
Yes, just knowing is fine. Yeah, I guess actually it's somehow, if we take out the conceptual part of the understanding or the knowing something, then we end up with knowledge that looks like your eye consciousness that is seeing an object directly in front of it. So there's nothing in between. You have the object and it kind of, the information jumps up into your eye. So there's no filter in between, unless your eye has some problems. But there's in between the eye and the object, it kind of happens directly. And I think that there must be, since the Buddha does and Manjushri does not have the filter of these two obscurations, then that's why I think we talk about direct understanding or direct perception. And yes, so this, we usually say that the sublime being have this yogic direct perception, because it's just another way to say that yogic here in the sense of realized beings, and direct perception because there's no obscuration of concepts in between.
Drupchen,
yes.
Does it have to do with the difference I've read about direct perception? Like you say, is all the senses have this direct perception between the object and the eye consciousness. But from mental consciousness, it goes like through an image first, a creation, and then we get that. Does it have to do with that? So the direct perception is when you can directly perceive without going through that image, even the mental consciousness.
Yeah, you have to see in which school you're talking about, because this image only stands for the Theravada.
Like the Abhidharma, that's
the Abhidharma.
What it's coming from.
Yeah,
okay, so in this case, you wouldn't apply it, for example.
No, because the image is needed, because there must be something existent really physically behind. And since the matter is not of the same nature as the mind, then the mind could not get into contact with something that has different nature, that is made of something totally different, which is why we have this image. But from the Mahayana onwards, we get rid of this really existent phenomena physically being there. So the only thing that happens is that the mind sees an image that it itself has created, which is why we have this mind-only school.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we don't need to make this distinction between, to have an image in between, because the image is actually the only thing you see.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So then coming down. Yeah. So this was okay. We saw that. Then here he continued, and yes. And then he commented on this. All that is to be known. In light of his wisdom, apprehends all that is to be known. Now, yes. And then here again, I made looks like I made a mistake. I didn't understand it properly. Yeah. So, okay, so here, all that is to be known, this is the knowable, like we usually have. It's kind of one concept, one idea, and yeah, technical term actually. And what this refers to is here from the physical form, that the gross physical form, that is the most obvious thing that we can apprehend, until all the phenomena, all the qualities, and all the characteristics that are within the state of omniscience, Namking the Bicha. So on the higher end, we have all the characteristics of a Buddha and the state of Buddhahood, and on the lower hand, we have the three lower realms. Yes, and so this kind of together makes this everything that is knowable, the knowable. And so here, when it says that it engages into all that is to be known, yes, and so here for this engage, which is Juba, and then Campbell kind of made it into a nice way in English. He says there's not one single, it doesn't work. So there's no context or there's no situation where the wisdom cannot work and cannot, the fact that the wisdom knows something doesn't work. So there's no one single, it doesn't work, but it is only, it works, it works, it works. And yes, and so it is engaging into the action of knowing. And so this the wisdom that is able to understand exactly how things are and without making any mistake and without mixing up things is the wisdom that Manjushri possesses. Okay, that's what he explained. And here for this nawa, that I made the mistake of putting into the word light, but it is also, so nawa is can be understood as light, but also as the verb to perceive. And here, from the Campbell's explanation, it is not the light, but it is the verb to perceive. So the wisdom perceives clearly everything that is knowable. So there's no question of light here. Mistake. No, to Silves. Because perception of his wisdom that engage into all phenomena shines in perfect way. Drop to Silves. Yeah. Yeah, actually, maybe I could ask him the question whether there is a metaphor that is kind of interwoven here or not. Because after we have the verb to shine, sal, or to be clear. So maybe I can ask him. Okay.
But here, the fact that it's there, the shine already implies.
Sorry?
The fact that
there's shine below.
The shine already implies.
Yeah, no, not necessarily, because the cell can also to be clear. It's not necessary to shine.
Oh, it does not necessarily shine.
No, it can be also to be clear. Yeah. So I need to ask him whether there's this metaphor of the sun shining or not in this part. Okay. So yes, the yes, and so the perception of this wisdom is extremely clear and not mixed up. And just like if you have a strand of hair that you put in your palm, when you look at it, everything is very clear. There's no doubt about this. It's not too far, not too close, and so you can really see exactly perfectly. Yeah, that was the example he gave. And then here I have to selve source, and so it ends by saying this is why. And so actually here this can be understood as an argument or a syllogism. And so Kempo has very conveniently kind of summarized everything that has been said here. And so in short, it's like if at the beginning, before this part, we're saying the Buddha or Manjushri has the ability to perceive or to apprehend all phenomena. And the reason for that, and so this is because he has already got rid of all the obscurations, all the stains of delusion which obscure this perception, this understanding. And if we take this reasoning and put it on the side of the example of the sun, and the sun that is clear and without clouds, then it's like if we said the sun is shining very clearly, and the reason is that the sun is free of everything that obscures it, like mist and cloud, etc. Okay, that's this part. So until here, yes. That's what we have seen. And so here is new content. So I will do like last times, make sentences. This here is how this wisdom yes, perceives its subject. And so yes, so here when we talk about wisdom, Kempo said that this wisdom is actually the intelligence of Manjushri. It is the quality of knowing of Manjushri. I'll try to put this in blue. Okay, and so when we say perceive its object, the object here, Kempo said that there is the possibility for the wisdom of enlightened beings to perceive its object without the distinction or without the duality of an object and a perceiver, so a perceived object and a perceiver. But here in this context, we are kind of not taking that perspective, but taking the perspective from the normal perspective, where there is on the one side the one who perceives, and on the other side the object that is perceived. And so, which is why we say that on the one side you have Manjushri's wisdom, and on the other side then you have the object of that wisdom. And so that is the point of view that's taken here. And Zigbee tools. So here, so how does he see? Here's how this wisdom perceives. How does he see? And then when we say here is how something is, here in Tibetan it is there is a way for the wisdom to see. Literally, that's what it says. There is a way for the wisdom to see. And so Kempo was saying, well, of course, there is a way for the wisdom to see. It has always been the case. The question is rather, is the one talking able to explain how it works or not? And so, yeah. So that's what he explained for that. And so, blue at the same time. Okay. Berki Kunjang. Ki to be che jinye chi 일반 되다 tonjin ki 모든 개발기단 transin 타와 근경 지도와 신 매 순도 세바 대치로스. Okay. So then again, Barki. He perceives indirectly without obscuration all the phenomena that there are included between the form and Nankin Barki Kunjang. Omniscience. Nankin Barki Kunjang to be chose all the phenomena of all the phenomena phenomena of so and the nirvana that there are the form and the omniscience. Yeah, omniscience I have it here already. Okay. Infinity and not Hanjik no not a Kibber then touching towards directly. Infinity and not Hanjik knows. Hanjik not a Kibber. As they are. And the omniscience all the then touching towards the parts all of them constitutes them the touching towards in their essence and their extremely fine characteristics. All of them. Yes. All of the Anderson's characteristics. All of them as they are, all of them exactly as they are in their sense and the extreme fun characteristics. Okay. So here, yeah. So this part, I try to follow the order of the translation to insert the commentary. So he proceeds directly without obscuration all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana. So here, when it comes to phenomena, phenomena he already explained before, so he didn't comment again here. And then of the samsara and nirvana, here it is literally these two words, kun, jang. Kun is the things of the samsara, which are the emotions, which are kun and yomobas, yes, that are in all aspects unsettling. Yes, nyon mongpa. If you take the word literally, nyon mongpa, it's negative emotions, but literally it is something that makes your mind not unresting, not settled. So kun and mongpa is so that which makes you completely unsettled is the negative emotions. So the kun stands for that, completely in all aspects, unsettled. So this is the kun, and so this refers to the desire, etc., the other negative emotions, and not only that, but also the impure place that we are, the impure bodies that we have, etc. So all of this is included in the kun here. So everything about samsara, basically. Then we have the jang, second part here. Jang, and jang is the first syllable of jangchup, so enlightenment. And so it is all the things that are beyond the suffering, so that are in the nirvana, all the things of the nirvana. And it is all the things that are inside, everything that belongs to the liberation. here liberation meaning the great liberation, enlightenment, not just the all the things that are from being liberated of the samsara onwards. So all of this, and it also includes the pure Buddha fields, the pure palaces and places to live, and on top of that also all the qualities of the enlightened minds of the Buddhas, like their compassion and their wisdom, their love, etc. And so in short, Kunjang here refers to everything that is found within the three realms of samsara, and also found in the peace or the nirvana. So everything in between these two that is comprised within these two is what is understood by Kunjang. And yes, so he perceived directly without obscuration all the phenomena of the samsara and nirvana. Okay, that there are so as numerous as there are. Yes, yes, yeah, I see. Yeah, we're too late already. 5 minutes have gone. Okay, so we stop here and then we continue next time.